Hello everyone, welcome to my channel Fly with Physics and it's me Adira. So today onwards we are going to start our new course on 12th class physics. So mainly this course will be concentrating on 12th class board exams coming on next year plus NEET and JEE exams. So we are going to start with our first chapter, electric charges and fields. So in this chapter we are going to study about electric charges and electric fields and some of the basic properties of charges and fields and some of the laws related to them. So let's get started. First of all, let's look into what are electric charges. So the definition of electric charges can be stated as electric charges are intrinsic property of elementary particles of matter such as electron, proton, which give rise to electric forces between various objects. So the next question is, what are elementary particles? Elementary particles are the particles which don't have any subparticles. For example, you know that a matter is made up of atoms, right? And these atoms are made up of electrons, protons and neutrons. But can we divide these electrons, protons and neutrons into even more smaller particle? No. So these types of particles which can't be divided into even more small subparticles are known as elementary particles. So electric charge is an intrinsic property of elementary particles of matter which give rise to electric forces between various objects. Electric charge is a scalar quantity. So you know what is a scalar quantity, right? Scalar quantity is a quantity which only have the magnitude and it don't have direction. So another example of scalar quantity is mass, which has only magnitude and don't have direction. The SI unit of electric charge is coulomb, which you can be denoted by capital C. It was Benjamin Franklin who named two types of charges, positive and negative. So in the universe there are only two types of charges, that are positive charge and negative charge. So the next question is, how did the scientists found the presence of charge? You would be really amazed if I tell you how did they find it. They just found the presence of charges by simple experiment that we used to do during our younger classes. I will tell you. They just took an amber rod and a silk cloth and rubbed it together. When this amber rod or silk cloth is brought near small bits of paper, they found that these bits of paper get attracted to this. So the real reason behind it is that when you rub an amber rod with the silk cloth, there are many free electrons present in the amber rod. So what is a free electron? Free electrons are the electrons in the valence shell which are loosely bound to the atom. So if you give a small energy to the free electrons in the valence shell, it comes out of the atom. So these are free electrons, and when I rub this amber rod with the silk cloth, what happens is that due to friction, these negatively charged free electron get transferred into silk cloth. Okay, so since there is a transfer of electrons, that means there is a loss of electrons from the amber rod which makes the amber rod positively charged, and this silk cloth gains the electrons which make the silk cloth negatively charged. If there is a gain of electron, the body becomes negatively charged, and if there is loss of electron, the body becomes positively charged. Now this amber rod and silk cloth is charged bodies. So because they are charged bodies, these small paper bits get attracted to them. I am pretty sure you have done a similar experiment like this when you are in younger classes. I will tell you, I also used to do it. Actually, we used to take a plastic scale and rub it in our dry hair. Yeah, you could use a plastic comb, and when this plastic comb is brought near the small paper bit, you could see that these paper bits get attracted to the comb, right? So what happened is that in our dry hair there are many free electrons, and when you rub this comb, plastic scale in your dry hair, this negatively charged electron get transferred to this comb, making this comb negatively charged. Since now this comb is negatively charged, when it is brought near the paper bits, it get attracted. So this was the experiment done by the scientist to prove the presence of charges. So now let's look into some more properties of electric charges. A proton has a positive charge which is denoted by plus E, and electron has a negative charge which is denoted by minus E, and the value of E is 1.6 into 10 raised to minus 19 coulomb. And this value is really important because in many of the numericals you would have to apply this value directly. So you should by heart this value. Value of E is 1.6 into 10 raised to minus 19 coulomb. If there are equal number of electron and proton in a material, we call it as electrically neutral. Like charges repel and unlike charges attract. This is the fundamental law of nature. Like charges always repel and unlike charges attract. Now let's look into what is a polarity of charge. This is a property that distinguishes the two kinds of charges. A positive charge has a positive polarity and negative charge has a negative polarity. So polarity of charge distinguishes between two kinds of charges. Now let's look into what is electrostatics. So in this chapter we are basically studying about electrostatics. So what is electrostatic? Before that, let's split this word. Electro and statics. So electro basically means electric charges and statics. What is statics? So static, it means everything that does not move or change with time. Electrostatic, it is a study of electric charges at rest. So electrostatics is the study of electric charges at rest. That means we are going to study about the charges that are at rest. So let's move into our next topic, gold leaf electroscope. Gold leaf electroscope is an apparatus to detect charge on a body. So how are we going to detect charge on a body? With the help of a gold leaf electroscope. So this is an apparatus of gold leaf electroscope. It has a jar, and inside it has metallic rods, and end of the one tip you could see two gold leaf attached to it, and top there is a metallic disc. So when I bring a positively charged rod near to the circular disc, what happens is that the negatively charged particles that are present in this metallic rod get accumulated in this disc, and positively charged particle get far away from this electrically charged rod, which means it get accumulated near this gold leaves. Since both gold leaves have the same charge, like charges repels, they get repelled, and this degree of divergence gives the amount of charge present in the rod. So the degree of divergence shows the amount of charge present in the rod. So this is a gold leaf apparatus, and this helps us to detect the charge, how much charge a body contains. Now let's get into conductors and insulators. I know that you have already studied this in your younger classes, so just rewind this all. The materials through which electric charges can flow easily are called conductors. They contain large number of free electrons which make them a good conductor of electricity. Examples are metals, human and animal bodies, graphite, etc. Now let's look into insulators. The materials which do not allow the flow of electric charge are called insulators. Electrons in the outermost shell is tightly bound to the atoms of insulators. That means it don't have any free electrons. Provides high resistance to the flow of electricity through them. Examples are glass, diamond, plastic, etc. Electrostatic induction. So before getting into the definition of what is electrostatic induction, let me explain to you a simple experiment. Here you could say that it is an example for electrostatic induction. So you could see that in case 1 there is two metallic sphere which is touching with each other, and since there are equal number of positive charges and negative charges, this is electrically neutral and it is not a charged body. Now I brought a positively charged rod near to one of the sphere. So what happens is that the negatively charges in both of the sphere gets accumulated near to this rod, and the positively charged particles in both spheres get far away from this electrified rod. That means it gets accumulated here. Now in case 3, I just made a gap between these two metallic spheres. The negative and positive charges remains where they are. Now in case 4, I just took away this positively charged rod. Now the negative charges which was accumulated here gets accumulated in the another part of the metallic sphere, and positively charged particle gets here, because now what when I took away this electrified rod, there is no any positively charged item here. So the next positively charges are present in this metallic sphere. So the negatively charged get accumulated near to the positively charged particles, and positively charged particle get accumulated near to the negatively charged particle. Again I made some more gap between these two metallic sphere. So what happens now? This body becomes negatively charged. Yeah, this metallic sphere becomes negatively charged, and this metallic sphere becomes positively charged. So this is an example for electrostatic induction. Now let's look into the definition of electrostatic induction. I am pretty sure you will understand by reading this. The process of charging the uncharged body by bringing another charged body, another charged object near to it, but not touching it, is called charging by induction. So the process of charging an uncharged body, this was uncharged at first, by bringing another charged object, so this is the another charged object, near to it but not touching, is called charging by induction. So this is electrostatic induction. So this is electrostatic induction. Next is basic properties of electric charges. There are 3 basic properties of electric charges, and which is really important. So let's look into it. First is additivity of charges. If there are 2 charges Q1, Q2 in a system, we could find the total charge of the system by simply adding 2 charges. That means capital Q is equal to Q1 plus Q2. Let me give you an example. So consider your box. Inside your box there will be a pen, scale, pencil and other essential things. And if I ask you what is the total mass present inside the box, so you could simply tell the total mass by just adding the masses of the objects present inside the box, right? Likewise, in a system, if there are 2 charges Q1 and Q2, and if I tell you to find the total charge of the system, you could simply tell the total charge by adding this Q1 and Q2. Okay? Charge of first body plus charge of the second body. So the definition for additivity of electric charge. So additivity of electric charge means that the total charge of a system is algebraic sum of all individual charges located at different points inside the system. If a system contains Q1, Q2, up to Qn charges, the total charge of the system is Q1 plus Q2 plus Q3 plus up to Qn number. So next property is charge by conservation. Law of conservation states that total charge of an isolated system remains constant. The electric charges can either be created nor be destroyed. They can only be transferred from one body to another. Charge conservation is a global phenomena, and that is total charge of the entire universe remains constant. Next is quantization of charges, and this is really important. Quantization of electric charge means total charge Q of a body is always an integral multiple of basic unit of charge denoted by E. So the total charge of a system, a body, is an integral multiple of basic unit of charge. So what is the basic unit of charge? E is the basic unit of charge, and the value of E is, I have already told you in the first of the class, it is 1.6 into 10 raised to minus 19 coulomb. So this is the value of E, and the equation of quantization of charges are Q is equal to NE. Just read the definition. It is an integral multiple, that means N of basic unit of charge denoted by E. So N is the number of charges. So N is equal to 0, 1, 2, 3. How much number of charge is present in the system? A body, it is N, and E is the value of charge, which is 1.6 into 10 raised to minus 19 coulomb. So that's all for today. All the PDF notes and weekly assignments will be provided in the Telegram group. So I have provided the link for the Telegram group in the description box. So please check it out, join the group and ask your doubts, and let's study the physics together. Thank you for watching this video, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel and also press on the bell icon so you could get notification whenever I upload the video. See you on the next video.